One more best of 7 remains to determine the champions of what has been the most stacked collegiate Rocket League LAN of all time. And one more time, unfortunately, my name is DJ TJ, and with me is Shane. What a day, what a weekend it has been here in Lexington.
It has been nothing less than spectacular, TJ. We've seen a whole lot of Rocket League. We've seen some super highs and some super lows for some of these teams, and we're moving in to the grand final, best of 7, Akron Blue, St. Clair Green. Here we go.
We're not going to waste your time. We're going to hop immediately in, but we also must explain what you're seeing on your screen. So if you looked on Wikipedia or even following in the Discord or on socials, you are aware that we were supposed to have a bracket reset. Unfortunately, if you knew the schedule of this event, we're about an hour 30 behind. So because of that, both Akron and St. Clair Green have made the agreement as the two teams here in the grand final that they want to do game advantage. So no matter what happens, this right here is your grand final, no exceptions.
Yeah, and Jazzy here looking to turn it into the Akron half immediately. Asai goes up on the right while he'll look mid as well, but mistouch. St. Clair's TJ has played a lot of Rocket League here on Championship Sunday, and Akron Blue has been sitting for about 3.5 hours getting cold after playing that upper final, so something to look for here in game 1.
St. Clair Green has won 5 series in a row, with 2 of those being best of 7s after originally losing to Fisher in the upper bracket quarterfinals. It was one of the first games that we saw happen. And it's an absurd feat that St. Clair Green was the unanimous 1 seed coming into this event, struggled very early on and even in group stage, but have now completely turned over a new leaf, even beating the very hot Fisher team that you just witnessed. But Akron, a story in itself. They've come out of nowhere in Kentucky, and you want to talk about all of their histories against these teams, it doesn't matter. You can throw it all out the window because Akron is undefeated in total this weekend.
Yeah, both teams playing a push and shove play style here, TJ, in the midfield, trying to gain any sort of advantage, but neither coming through too much. We haven't seen too many looks on net. A lot of boost control attempts from both teams, but not a whole lot of offense yet as Jazzy puts one off the post and in. Not sure what's going on for the Akron defense there. I think that they're trying to get warm, I'm not gonna lie.
All right, well, either way, you'll take it if you're Jazzy. You throw it off the left post, it's going to rip in your eardrums and stick in. And for St. Clair Green, you will 1,000% take it. And luckily for Akron, you do technically get a free warm-up game, because even if you do give up technically game 1 here, then you're still tied. So overall, not a lot to worry about, but also Akron has shown us time and time again that it doesn't matter what the scoreline is, who they're playing, how much time is left, they always find a way to win. Again, they have not lost in 5 up, somebody who you can definitely blame for Akron's success.
Yeah, 5 up, a key addition that Akron made in the fall, and he's been nothing less than great. And Patty and Bullseye here, the duo that have been on Akron all weekend playing some tandem defense, and St. Clair knocking on the door of Akron again, but Akron pushing it out, 5 up in the mid, waterfall read down, side pushes it away, and St. Clair defense standing tough as Jazzy turns up in the corner and trying to beat 5 up. He does. Bullseye, 0 boost touch over to Patty, connected with Arju. Arju into the mid, and 5 up back into the St. Clair half. This push and shove tug of war remains.
2 minutes left to go. St. Clair Green obviously did get the early goal, and Akron have not had too many close opportunities until right now, and it's a slight caster curse at the 2-minute mark, but we are even.
We are even, and the open 3 winners from the fall strike with 2 minutes remaining in game 1. We said they could use it as a warm-up if they need, but they're showing they might be ready to go.
Many teams show up on this stage and get better as the series goes on, especially in a best of 7. If you are St. Clair Green, you cannot afford to let Akron get this game. This has to be your moment to go ahead and even up the series and make it a best of 5 from there on out, something that they are very used to, and it would favor them, granted their success in the losers bracket. But time will tell. We're slowly approaching 90 seconds, and we're already in the St. Clair half.
DJ, and you said many teams get better as the series goes on. In a game where the grand final is on the line, you need to get better as the series goes on, and you said you need to make it a best of 5. If you don't, you're winning a best of 7, and the other team is winning a best of 3 from that point on. So TJ, St. Clair, I see them striking now. They're looking into the midfield, and you'd really like it if you were Arju as he goes top right. and they take the lead 2-1, 1:14 to play.
Slight redirect off the wrong player, but a valiant attempt regardless from 5-up, and it will slot in for Sai and Arju. But one thing we're talking about as well is we barely talked about the prize pool. We're talking about a difference between $750 if you lose this series versus $1,500. You can take your earnings and double it if you survive, and Akron is very used to that.
Akron is very used to that. I talked to Patty earlier this week, and he said, we always feel good. It just comes down to us playing well individually. And, well, 5-up showing that he can put it into the back of the net. Patty and Bullseye playing well in tandem on defense. Akron looking to match St. Clair here, and we move into the final minute of the game, all tied up.
5-up, a decent rip off the ceiling. It's going to give Arju a lot of room to go to work, but now a lot of demos will come through from Akron. That's something that we're very used to seeing, but has been lacking so far in game number 2. Arju now try to keep his life as he tries to work his way out. Jazzy's met by Patty in the air, who's got time and space to work, but not a lot of boost. Has to take this double, and then hopefully a 50 will find a pinch instead, as once again it falls over towards the Akron side. Arju's bumped out. Bullseye's there, but Arju eats that like it's lunch, as now Patty has an open net still, and it doesn't matter. Akron still find a way.
And Patty is such a strong midfield player, TJ. He's always ready to strike, and he's been accurate all weekend long. Nothing changes here. Takes the lead, half a minute to go.
3-2, 30 seconds to go. Akron would be in a beautiful spot if they use that game advantage and double it heading into game 3 in this series. But St. Clair Green, they've shown the ability to come back throughout the entire day and the entire weekend. They are the number 1 seed for a reason, and that's why they're in this grand final, potentially playing upset, funny enough, to a very strong uppers winning Akron team. Now, 10 seconds left. There is an open lane for Arju to find a teammate, but he wants to solo play. A fake. Bullseye jumps early, does still save his flip just in time. 5 seconds left. 5-up will definitely stall a lot of time. It's got to get to the back wall, and that it will. One more chance for Arju. He's got one beat. Looking for another or a fake. Jazzy and Arju stuck next to each other. 5-up will get a 50, but the ball will stay up. Zai now off the sidewall. Can he find anything? 5-up straight down, and Akron 2-0 with the game advantage.
The game advantage. They move on 2 more to take this grand final and the $1,500 prize. Akron's offense comes through in a game where they didn't have a warm-up. They've been sitting for multiple hours, and if you're St. Clair, that is a little bit worrisome. Definitely wanting to make some adjustments going into game 2.
It's the Akron way. I believe the shot total, as Sleeper will give us a little bit of a stare there, but I believe the shot total was 11-4. If I counted right before we transitioned, or it was 11-5, one or the other. Either way, more than double of what St. Clair Green was able to do. And normally online, we've seen this matchup in rare occasions where obviously Akron have had their moments, but here on LAN, again, they are not the same group of 3 that we've seen in CRL this season. They truly do look back in their old form, the team that made RLCS way back when it was Tristan, except now you put in 5-up. Now, in terms of you think that that's better or worse, that's obviously for debate, but Akron on the verge of reaching even closer to becoming 3-time LAN champions here in Kentucky.
And TJ, I'm just as big of a Tristan fan as everybody else, but in the year 2025, 5-up is on the come up. He's been making waves in the RLCS, making a name for himself over the past year, and he's shown that he can lead this Akron roster as a freshman. Patty and Bullseye will be set to the side. His side is an insane redirect bottom left.
He was already up, was he not? I mean, it falls beautifully to Jazzy, and Sai was basically jumped as the past game proved. That level of respect and confidence in each other is why St. Clair are dominant online and dominant in person. They strike first in game 3.
They do, TJ, and big tie up here off the kickoff as Patty and Arju knock head to the midfield. Patty off the back wall. Jazzy up should be an easy clear for St. Clair as 5-up tries to collect against the left wall, but St. Clair moving into the offensive half. 0 boost for Jazzy. Sai looking goal, can't find it off the post, and Bullseye 0 boost, flick mid, and man, they're back into this midfield. Both teams playing neutral exceptionally well right now.
5-up. Gets bumped. Sai will try to open up a lane for Arju to keep this ball in. A smart touch over to Jazzy, but he might be dusted here by 5-up. He is able to deny for now, but this could be a shot for Patty. A low touch. It's going to force 2 to go, and all 3 members of St. Clair Green are now stuck in the corner. But Arju has done a great job at handling the best mechanical player on this team role, but also not having to be the main aggressor. I've already said this storyline so many times. When you look at the best of the best in CRL, their best player is not the aggressor, and he's not the defender. He owns the midfield, and it's a constant battle between players like Arju and 5UP, but all 6 players looking to make their stance here, especially from the Akron side.
TJ, Sai finds the back of the net again, but you're absolutely right about the midfield point, and teams not only all weekend but all year have lived and died by their midfield play. Both teams so far this series showing that the midfield belongs to them, but St. Clair taking control of that in game 2.
Sai has looked incredible, not only in the back half of the group stage, and I am just on a bad run of cursing teams, so I might as well stop picking sides here. Akron finds their first.
Yeah, they do, and this is just a traditional little bump and chase kickoff, and Sai not able to get back in time. That's a goal for 5UP, and Akron cuts the lead to just 1.
All right, well, here we go. Just about 3 minutes left. Akron, once again, needing to come back from a 1-goal deficit. Shown against every team in CRL that it's not a tall task here on land, but St. Clair Green have only gotten better the more they've gotten to warm up to this on-stage nature, especially against Fisher, where they struggled early, but then I believe won 3 straight, and then lost 1, then got that last game to end that series off. They look great, and they're showcasing that, finally looking for their first in this grand final.
Yeah, TJ, they did, and St. Clair just keeping this ball in the Akron corner. Akron fighting tooth and nail to get it out as 5UP finally finds a way, and Sai back into the back right corner, and huge 50 off the sidewall, forcing Patty to collect slowly in his back right.
Patty double jumping off the corner early, seeing Arju making another early commit as well. Ozzy will be forced awkward, back to 5UP, who has a flip. He is over, does have the backboard, but no double touch can come through. Arju missing boost, but not missing a pinch or an angle. Will give Patty a chance, though. May try and go for a dunk, and that's exactly what happens. A shot is there for Bullseye, but not before St. Clair cuts it off. Now 5UP, I believe, wanted to look back for himself off the sidewall, but couldn't find it. Patty will try to stall for him and find a teammate. This ball's going to go right to Jazzy, though. Takes a great first touch, goes under and finds the double, and a smart, calm, and composed play.
Yeah, and you know, Jazzy collected in the midfield. He saw the gap. He saw Patty land awkward on the backboard. He kept it low and just used that card to get as big as possible. 50s it in. St. Clair extends their lead by 2.
2-1 versus 3-0 is a much different world, especially on land. St. Clair Green, no strangers to the stakes of a grand final, especially this spring. They are 2-time open winners, which we haven't even touched on yet. And Akron haven't won since the fall, so here on land, yes, it has been Akron, but if you let St. Clair get hot, you may be under a similar spell that Fisher was. Now, granted, still 90 seconds to go, and Akron still has some room to work, but they've got to find a few more demos and get back to that Akron style.
Yeah, they definitely are trying to get back to the Akron style, and this might be it. 5UP takes to the sky, reset over 1. Can he get another over 2? Bullseye there, but 50'd by Jazzy. Great recovery off the backboard there from St. Clair defense. Arju, though, playing to himself. That is disgusting, Arju. Poor 1 St. Clair, minute and 13 to play.
A skip and a hop over Patty off the ceiling once again, and right between all 3 members of Akron. It is a beaut, and could be the dagger here with just about a minute to go.
Minute to go. They'll send themselves at the kickoff. Bullseye takes control to the left, but Jazzy steps in front. Flip. Can he get another? He goes musty, trying top right, but 5UP there as Jazzy comes up a little bit weak on the musty. Bullseye off his own backboard. Arju collects, looking for left side. Patty, though, booms back in. St. Clair takes control in their own half.
Sai is having to double jump just to get out of rotation there and make sure that Jazz is able to work this a little easier off the ceiling. Sai might go for another highlight goal, almost gets on top of it, but does at least force all of Akron to commit to this one. You need something now if you're Akron. We've seen crazier comebacks, but 30 seconds to go, you would love to have one right about now.
Yeah, you would, and if you're Akron, you do need to get going just about now. You need 3 goals. You've got about 10 seconds apiece to get them, and St. Clair looking to just slow the game down in their own half, take great 50s, and keep running the clock.
Arju making out, just trying to stall time out, and Akron, I think, have accepted that Now they'll have to reset and try and regain to move up 3-1 instead of 3-0. So not your dream scenario if you're an Akron fan, but you can still get pretty dang close to it against a very formidable and slowly burning St. Clair green team as this ball will finally hit the ground. We go 2-1 on the series.
Yeah, TJ, and we might have expected Akron to need the one game to get going here, but it looks like St. Clair really figured stuff out between game 1 and 2. Lots of pressure, great solo play there, obviously, from Arju, and it looks like they're feeling super confident.
Akron was not able to move very quickly on the St. Clair half. The touches were a lot more... I hate using the word consistency in this level of Rocket League because it's too broad, but St. Clair are moving with a purpose. Every touch they find this game seems to have an end goal either to another teammate or over multiple Akron players. They're not just settling for the average 50 and leave or demo and leave. They're starting to really play high-level Rocket League, even at as high of a level as CRL has been. And for Akron, we're so used to seeing them demo, rotate, demo, and continue to really just be annoying in the St. Clair green half as we're going to switch over to the very bright Utopia Coliseum, and we'll see if Akron can get back to that, or are we going to have an even series?
Yeah, Bullseye here looking to keep it in their end. 5-up gets beat as well by Jazzy. I think Patty's going to have an easy control here in his own corner as he tries to play it out into the mid. One more over Psy, and Patty looking mechanical on the keys.
Can't say I'm used to seeing a stall in the midfield for anything other than a reset, but that was just for the beat. I can't say that I'm that creative, so big shout out to Patty as he continues to find his peaks at every living land that Akron finds their cars set at, as they're not out of the woods just yet, though it's still a very long series, and even with the game advantage, both teams may be feeling the fatigue of the day, and it's even starting to rain outside, so there's a lot of doom and gloom into a LAN format like this, but it also rewards the patient, the brave, and the bold, and both teams struggling to figure out who that's going to be.
Yeah, and, you know, Akron finally getting an extended possession in the St. Clair half as Arju's forced to just take a slow play in the air to buy time for his teammates. But, Patty, back to him, man. It is so nice to be a player as a shot goes on net, but it's very nice to be a player that plays their absolute best ball while on LAN. And 5-up taking a 50 to the midfield. That's collected by Jazzy and set back into the Akron half. And the neutral here not really going too strong in control of either team. And 5-up looking to take a strong 50 against Psy. He bumps him out of the way. Patty takes to the air, and I think he's going to try to 50 it down and in. It stays up. Bullseye next. He drops it down for Akron. They break the tie. That's 1-0, 321.
A lot of orange cars, but not a lot of orange boosts. I would have sworn we would have seen a third man rotate into net there, but it looked like there was maybe a bump on the right corner. I didn't see who that was, but awkward rotations for St. Clair. That's what Akron needs to do and repeat time and time again. Now they finally strike first.
They do, and 5-up looking to get it going again. He air dribbles over one, looking for the bump. Can't find it as he's out of boost, but Patty throws it high. Bullseye following quickly, almost goes top right, but Psy's able to hit it away, and now Arju, full boost in the air, goes reset over one, going for the bump on the second. Psy follows, but Bullseye, lockdown clamp defense, and 5-up clamps him up as well.
Akron and defense have normally not been the focus when we talk about this team, but the offense has never missed one like that. It's a tight angle, but 5-up of all people normally score that. There's another chance for Bullseye, though. A very tight angle, but the two-time BBB winners cannot link up just yet. 5-up will try to give Patty a chance, but Psy is up quickly and does get a clean beat. Now halfway through game 4. It's going to be awkward for St. Clair as they're still trying to find their shot total like it was in game 3. It's starting to feel eerily similar to game 2, but again, we are nowhere near the end of this one. Still a lot of Rocket League left.
Yeah, St. Clair not looking as tightened up as they were in game 2 as Psy takes it to the house himself. The caster curse strikes again. They never fail to prove me wrong, it seems, but St. Clair, maybe this is a little bit of a shift, but I was going to say Akron doing a great job of spreading them out and forcing them to go find boost elsewhere so far.
I think I'm 3 for 3 for ominous caster calls that lead to immediate goals. So at this point, I guess I'm rooting for both teams at this point, or I'm rooting for nobody. I guess we want to see good Rocket League here in the grand final, especially if there's no bracket reset. I think we're all just hoping for content to be given to its fullest. But Akron, I know they've been waiting. You mentioned it at the very beginning. They've been waiting for hours. Maybe that fatigue starts to show as it's a very loud playing off the bar for 5-up.
Yeah, it is, and the crossbar, as funny as it is, just can't find it to go in as Patty's going to try to send it mid here. Jazzy collecting in stride. He's got just about half a tank. He'll flip over one more, possibly look to sweep the demo here as 5-Up takes it off his left wall. Arju not able to get to the double as Patty follows. Flip over one. Sai forced to chase down into his back corner, and Akron starting to put the pressure back on St. Clair yet again.
This one will go middle, and it's going to force Arju to give it away to Jazzy potentially. He's going to be met by 5-Up. Not a lot of boost once again for St. Clair. This is where Akron needs to thrive and keep possession in the orange half. Bullseye grabs that boost immediately. Now Sai is awkward. This one was just barely off the net. Demo comes through. That is textbook Akron Blue.
Akron Blue with their classic demo play. Every team here has talked about it. It's normally Bullseye, but 5-Up clearing the path for Patty, and Arju just 0 boost, not able to get back in time. That's 2-1, 1:11 to play.
Here we go once again. Akron is up with about a minute to go. Just needs to hold on, and they're going to be up 3-1. And if you thought 2-1 versus 3-0 was bad, now imagine 3-1 versus 2-2. You can be even in this series if you're St. Clair Green, but you've got to make something happen, and a great redirect there will at least start a potential move towards this Akron half, but they're bumping each other as well, so there may be more room than we think. This one goes towards Bullseye, but a great 50 will not only stop the shot, it'll be a counterattack if 5-Up can get there first.
Yeah, the St. Clair aggression, rightfully so, picking up. Just about a half a minute to play. They need one, and they need one in a hurry. Arju leading the way on the lead block, takes a big 50. That's Jazzy who with the fake. Sai underneath can't go, and Arju back in Bullseye with the squishy save. Jazzy, though, going to safely collect it in his back corner. 23-22, tick off the clock. Jazzy reset, just can't find the angle for the musty, but Arju still collecting this ball for St. Clair. Reset, no go. Jazzy up in the air. Bullseye with the big beat, and I think Akron's going to get one for free here, TJ. I think that's going to be game 4.
St. Clair Green had to send everybody, no matter what happened, and they missed their greatest opportunities, and Akron just has to safely put it away with an open net. And that is exactly what we will see. And I had to mention last year as Game 4 closes out, because Illinois State was the team that was super hot last year as Concord went out to Akron earlier in the bracket. So in terms of CRL presence, it was Akron and Illinois State who met in the grand final, and it was a very similar situation. Akron dominated through uppers, made it to grands, and, well, technically both teams were in uppers. There was only single LM, but Akron never dropped a game, and then they beat Illinois State in 5 in the grand final stage. Now, granted, St. Clair Green is not Illinois State. They are the #1 team in all of CRL, but of all of the teams they've played, Akron always seems to make them awkward, and they haven't even played yet.
Yeah, and TJ, I have to admit, I made a mistake. That was the 3rd game we've played, but the 4th colored dot being added to the scoreboard. Nonetheless, we're seeing the classic best-of-7 play out here, where one team kind of takes control, another team takes control, and now we're getting into more of an even type of play, and this next game is going to be very pivotal. No matter how many game advantage we started with, of who can finally get that momentum going into the closing part of this series.
Momentum and pivotal are very nice words to use. St. Clair Green is officially on match point watch, and they're not exactly going to have to reverse sweep, but coming back down 3-1, I would argue, is basically as hard as coming back down from 0-3, and now I don't know if they can do it. We haven't seen them make a reverse sweep level type of comeback here at this land. We haven't seen them have to win 3 games in a row until that Fisher series. So now that St. Clair is being truly tested with nowhere left to go, what can the Zips do, and what will St. Clair do to get out of this one alive?
Well, and the Zips just need to lock down the defense currently as St. Clair gets instant pressure off of the opening kickoff. But Sai gonna be upfield. That's Arju playing it to himself. Double reset. One more. Bullseye says no, and 5-Up collects with full boost in the corner. Not the touch he would have wanted off the wall, but musty Zip to aggress into the St. Clair half, and Bullseye 50 up the wall. 5-Up going to elect not to turn as he's only about half boost, and Patty takes it from him. 5-Up on the goal line with 0, but Patty able to make that play on his own as this tug of war and battle continues between these two heavyweights.
Arju rips this one right side over to Sai, who is very awkwardly trying to stick on that ball, and now that Arju's dead, nobody can really make him play. Even Jazzy coming in late, Jazzy coming in late, only so much that he's able to do. Arju an even 50 as well. Akron really dominate in the midfield, and they rarely falter. Now this net could be wide open. Nobody's there, though. for Akron, so Patty has to be careful with his next touch. No double. It could be a shot. Sai is there to bump Bullseye, but Bullseye placed himself in front. 1v1 for Patty. Goes to flick early, avoids the bump, does get a 50, but it's in control of St. Clair. Bullseye will try to actually cut this one off, and it's miscommunication, and Akron strike first in match point.
Yeah, great quick recognition from Bullseye to just pin this one against the ground, keep it as low as possible. He finds that bottom right corner and trying to lead Akron towards this Game 4 win and sealing up this BBB championship.
Still, again, a lot of time and no guarantees with teams as good as St. Clair Green and Akron Blue, let alone on land. Crazier things have happened and will happen, I'd imagine, in the next 3 minutes here. And maybe it starts with a St. Clair attack, but it will be very swiftly denied by Bullseye. Patty getting bumped off as well, but is still finding a way directly into this play and pass 2. It's those types of plays that you can't have if you're a St. Clair or a St. Clair fan. You cannot sit here and watch one player be taken out by this, or sorry, 2 players taken out by one of Akron's, and those types of plays is why this game is simplified for Akron. They bump, they demo, they free open lanes, they get to do whatever they want mechanically. They get to keep a lot of possession, but now here come the shots from St. Clair.
Yeah, here come the shots from St. Clair. Akron trying to fall back into that fundamental defense that they love to play. You said they keep it simple, and that's exactly what they're doing. They calm well, they force for each other, and they try to take control of the ball as Bullseye takes a big 50 out of their end. Sai backflips. Patty, it's a 1v1. He finds the back of the net. That's super unlucky for St. Clair, but Akron really liking what they're seeing with just half the game to go.
I'm very confused. I think Sai missplit there, or was too far up, one or the other. It's a very awkward interaction at the halfway point of game number 5. And again, maybe St. Clair's forgetting, but we're not. This is it. And they have struggled in this entire game. They need some dire action, and maybe it'll come at the hands of Arju, but all 3 members of Akron are together, and this might just be a pass. It might be a 4v2 at this point if Sai doesn't get this ball. Luckily for St. Clair, he does, and now they're going to try and get the counter going.
Yeah, they will get the counter going as Arju would have had a close range shot on net, but a big demo coming through on the side of Akron, and I'm a massive 50 there, but Arju coming in to keep pressure into the Akron half. He bumps Bullseye. Bullseye a little bit awkward, just saved by Patty in the nick of time, and Arju full boost out of his own corner. 5 up down mid. Sai a little overextended, but able to make the play, and Akron knocking at the door of St. Clair. 5 up. Tipped the ball by Patty. I was wondering where he went there for a second, but Bullseye catch in the air to himself, and St. Clair now bringing it back at Akron. I love this war that we have going on.
Sai, a decent pre-jump, but it's being read completely by Akron. We haven't seen a team really park the bus at all today, but with the grand final on the line, now might be the time. Akron returning back, retreating back from the heavy demo playstyle and just trying to make booming clears and great touches that forces a lot of boost and a potential psycho to be an option for St. Clair Green, and they're very dire plays for St. Clair. They're going to keep trying to find these passes, but look at Akron. They're not jumping. They're not worried. If they want to flip reset and throw something towards the backboard, then we're just going to let them do it if you're an Akron fan. A minute left now between Akron and 3 straight ships here in Kentucky.
Yeah, and if you're St. Clair Green, TJ, you need one, and you need one in a hurry, so you have a cushion to get the last one and force OT as Arju fakes one in the corner. Sai up into the same corner, and 5 up doubles out. Arju falling back and tips it up. Waterfall redown. Can Patty get it? He can't. Bullseye and Arju pinch it into the Akron net. Just under a minute to go, and St. Clair showing some life.
Patty's touch could have been the denial of this entire series and this entire tournament, but it now will result in an open door for St. Clair Green. They need one more goal to potentially find the first OT and what would have to be probably many OTs for them to come back. But they got to take it one game at a time, and right now it is mere seconds at a time.
Seconds at a time, indeed, as Arju goes waterfall down yet again. Patty a little awkward. Sai waits for it. Perfect play off the back run. Bullseye just enough boost to knock it away. Akron just now collecting in their own half as Arju takes a touch off the backward. Sai's not ready for it. Patty's there, and bang! 24 seconds left. 2 goals needed for St. Clair. Akron Blue is licking their chops.
Patty may have missed the save earlier, but you know he won't miss his first man in this rotation, and that is too easy bottom right to potentially end this one. But we could see another quick goal. 24 seconds left. Do we see a kickoff strat? We did. A very hard cheat, but no demos and no major pushes yet for St. Clair's. Jags is going to have to give this one away to 5 up.
Yeah, 5 up with a tip into the back right. Patty, no boost, just a touch out into the mid. This is a little awkward. Bullseye just the right jump there to get that touch and knock it away. But St. Clair, they might have to wrap it up here. Not enough time. Akron Blue is your back-to-back BBB champions.
Just in case one wasn't enough for 5 Up, 2 isn't enough for Patty and Bullseye, and that is the end of it. A very unlikely story when you look at CRL, but the legends, the princes, the kings of Kentucky are going back to Ohio.
Yes, they are, and incredible play all weekend, TJ, from Akron Blue. They came in not too sure what they'd look like after their back-to-back wins, but what a silly thing for Akron to assume that they wouldn't show up and show out at BBB. And St. Clair Green, got to give it to them as well. They won, I think you said, 5 series in a row to reach this grand final. That's a lot of Rocket League. And against like common belief, fatigue plays a massive role in things like this. And man, that was nothing less than exciting.
You know, they made the losers bracket run, and it was absurd to see, but Akron made it easy today. They, in total, dropped 1, 2, 3 games, and they won 3, 6, and then, excuse my math, 10 and 14. 14-3 on Championship Sunday at the most stacked LAN in CRL history. I cannot name another time a team has shown this much dominance in this scene.
No, and if you're going to win one, that's how you're going to do it, right? You're not going to lose too many grand finals by losing 3 games all day long. And obviously, we'd like to give a shout out to the University of Kentucky and Gen G and our other sponsors, Coca-Cola. And TJ, you have the ad read, so if you'd like to continue with it, feel free.
Well, we're very thankful for all of our partners, but Gen G especially have been major players in not only the upbringing of Collegiate, but also this event. And we really do thank Gen G for everything that they've done to help this event improve every year. And so I want to talk about the Practicum Abroad program. You've seen ads for it all the time here on broadcast, and I've got a few things to say from Gen G. You can join them in Seoul, Korea to enjoy all the cultural aspects Korea has to offer, as well as getting hands-on experience at the Gen G headquarters of what it is like to work at a global Tier 1 esports organization. And before I get to what you can expect, make sure you scan that QR code as well. I mean, it's right. I can do it the other way. It's right next to our faces. It's in the dead center of the screen. But here's what you can expect if you get to participate. You can gain an understanding of the esports industry, its challenges, and its opportunities while experiencing the first-hand operational aspects of, again, a leading esports organization. You get to understand the practical problem solving that Gen G goes through in their fast-paced environment, discover your own professional strengths and weaknesses, while also discovering and developing your project management skills. And overall, you will walk out of this gaining key skills across all facets of professional esports that are applicable almost anywhere that you go if this is the field that you are interested in. And of course, you get to go to Seoul, South Korea. I mean, it's a beautiful area. We've seen it in the videos, and we, again, deeply thank Gen G. But Shane, it is the end of the road. It has been a thrilling broadcast, and we do still have interviews with Akron that we're going to do. But Shane, this is your last time, but your first LAN esports cast. And so before I do end up doing this interview with Akron, give us your final thoughts on this event, Lexington, Kentucky, and overall how much fun you may have had.
Yeah, TJ, first of all, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Ted, or the Chipmunk Man, and for putting this together for us, and the rest of everybody in University of Kentucky Esports. And the campus is beautiful. It was an amazing tournament. And for my first ever esports cast, this was absolutely incredible. I couldn't have wanted anything more. And just from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much. It was an honor to be here.
I can't even imagine if my first esports cast was the CRL gauntlet. But without further ado, I'm going to save my sappy thoughts for once we get on main stage. So let's send it back to the stage cam, and we're going to go talk with Akron.
We are indeed back here. We got Bullseye joining me here. Congrats on the victory. How does it feel to be back-to-back Bluegrass Boost Battle champions?
Feels pretty good. I mean, we came in here knowing we won the last 2, so we knew we had to win it again.
You guys, I've officially coined you guys the King of Kentucky. I mean, it's your home away from home. No matter the level of competition that we've had, and it's just continued to rise, you have been able to take down the competition. How does that feel, being able to rise to these challenging teams?
Feels pretty good. I mean, I guess this is just our other home for us, I guess. I don't know. We do better here than we do at home.
Yeah, well, you guys were looking really good. Patty and 5UP were phenomenal on the offense, and then you were helping instigate. I mean, what was your kind of role in that final series?
I'm the demo man. I just create chaos whenever I can.
Well, we definitely saw that a lot this weekend. Congrats on the victory, and how are you feeling after this land win? How are you feeling going into this upcoming weekend for CRL Nationals?
Well, the last time we won Bluegrass, we won Open 3, so I'm hoping we win Nationals as well.
Well, looking to try and get back at Nationals, but that's going to do it here for the Bluegrass Boost Battle. We'll welcome DJ TJ back on stage one more time. Come on up here, my guy. Thank you, Bullseye, for the interview. Congrats on the victory.
Well, thank you, Sleeper, for the interview. You did a great job, man, and you did a great job this weekend as well.
Thank you.
There is one person who was here today who did an even better job than all of us. It is Chipmunk Man himself. Get up on this stage, Chipmunk. Get up on this stage. I'm not letting you get away easy now. Come on, man. Ted Chance filled the arena, and for good reason. Chipmunk has been the rightful successor of the Bluegrass Boost Battle, the main tournament organizer, and the king behind how all of this has intertwined. So I want to give you the chance to at least give your opinions, give your notes, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the mic. I mean, it's just been a great experience hosting all these teams, and Akron Blue winning again. Awesome. I mean, they can play CRL Nationals here if they want to. Like, they can stay for another week and win that next week. But, yeah, no, but it's been great. And I was really glad to have all these teams, and it's been a crazy experience. I mean, besides that, thankful to Unfriable Apples over here. He ran the event before me, and Graydon before that. And it's been handed down to me. I got this event already having teams like Akron already in it, as they are 3-time champions now. So back to back to back, and it's been great hosting this event.
Thank you again. One more round of applause for Chipmunk Man himself. That is my goat, that is your goat, that is our goat. But on that note, all good things must come to an end. It has been my second BBB in a row getting to act as the solo host, but I couldn't have done it without the incredible help from everybody involved, all of the teams, the managers, as Chipmunk's going to run away as I get to my sappy outro. But we had so much incredible involvement, so many volunteers from Kentucky. I mean, Taquito, for example, drove from Texas. Shane came in and flew from Michigan. Sleeper drove from the Carolinas, and Pink came with the Purdue boys. There's so much to talk about that makes this event so special. And no matter who's playing, it truly is, and no pun intended, the cornerstone of collegiate esports. It's the land, it's the venue, it's the players, it's the champions, and Akron very deserving of that title. But again, I'm forever blessed to be here. I'm very thankful to Gen G, Coke, and the Kentucky family. And I guess without further ado, no matter where you're watching from, it's been DJ TJ. So good afternoon, good morning, or good night. We'll see you next year.
We've heard it before. Just wait. Wait for your moment. Wait for your turn. Not today. Not here. At the University of Kentucky, we run to challenges. Here, we know the world is asking